Let's take a look at every shirt and blouse I've ever made. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tamlin, this is Sewing on the Tyne, and I'm here today with the next instalment of my wardrobe auditing series. So if you saw the first one, that was all about sweatshirts. I tried on every sweatshirt that I've got in my wardrobe. We talked about them, we discussed which ones I might like to keep, which ones might go with the journey, and I managed to move some on out of my wardrobe. And then I, in the next video, followed up by making some sweatshirt sewing plans, looking at all of the sweatshirt fabric I've got in my stash and then making some tentative sewing plans. So I thought I'd come back today and do the next installment in this series, and I've decided today to go for shirts and blouses. Initially I thought it was all going to be button-up shirts and blouses, however there are a couple in there that don't actually have buttons, but they are called a shirt in the pattern name, so I thought let's include them. So in a moment, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to move around, and we're going to have a look at every shirt and blouse that I have in my wardrobe. You can probably see I've prepared and got them all hanging up there. I had a little ironing session, so just to say, they might not be ironed beautifully, but I thought I should iron them rather than them just looking a bit scruffy. So hopefully this video will provide you with some inspiration. I got lots of really great feedback on that previous video. People liked seeing the garments actually on and seeing how they fit and all of that. Now, I don't know if I can remember sizing on all of these patterns. However, if I have made any adjustments or anything and I can remember them, I will let you know. So I think we'll get started. I'm going to pop my hair up because then I think you can see more of the details like the collar and things like that. So let's make a start and look at pattern number 1. Here is pattern number 1, which is the Helen's Closet Gilbert top. Now, just before I get started with this one, just for reference, my body measurements are around a 36.5 inch bust, 28 inch waist, and 39.5 inch hip, give or take a little bit. So I tend, when I'm choosing a pattern, to look first at the body measurement chart. My body measurements tend to put me either in a straight size or between two sizes. Usually my bust and hip fall into the same size. My waist is often a size down. So then I tend to look at the finished garment measurements to decide whether I want to grade, and often I will grade in for the waist and then back out again at the hip, but I don't always do that. It just entirely depends pattern to pattern. So the Helen's Closet Gilbert top then, this is the one that I've made. I actually had to dig this out of my summer box of clothes because I had put this one away. I think it's quite summery, and I did make it with some wide leg lane pants to match it. This is a pattern which is a PDF only pattern. It comes in sizes 0 to 30. It is a button-up shirt, so you can see here we've got the buttons up the front, and it has a camp style collar. It's got a nice relaxed fit. This is view A, which is the short sleeve version, also has a tie front, so you can see that is where the tie is, and then you can tie it up sort of as tight as you want for your preference. View B has long sleeves and they sort of flare out, so they're quite like retro 60s 70s style. I've never made that version, I've only ever made this version. I think this is the second Gilbert I've made. The first one I made when I was pregnant actually, so I don't have that one anymore because it wouldn't fit me now. Both options of the Gilbert have an optional breast pocket. I didn't actually put a pocket on this one just because I thought it would get lost in the details of the fabric. Other features that it has a yoke at the back. It has a facing, so obviously that's the inside, but it's got a facing so that it looks like the same as the outside. I did do a broad shoulder adjustment on this version, so I think I added possibly 1.5 centimeters onto the shoulders of this, just to account for my slightly broader than average shoulders. The finish on the inside is really clean. It's all done using the burrito method, so it gives a really beautiful finish. I love this shirt. This fabric is a linen viscose fabric, so it feels really beautiful to wear. The only thing, as you can see there, is the underside of the ties, you can then see the underside of the fabric. So depending on how you fasten it, depending on what the wrong side of your fabric looks like, you're going to see that. Now you could create a facing for that section if it bothered you that much. I don't think it actually bothers me too much, and because the fabric has white in it as well, it doesn't look too different. But perhaps if your fabric was black and then white on the reverse, you might want to think about changing that. I'm definitely keeping this one. This is going to go back into my summer box though, because I don't think it's very autumn winter appropriate, so I will get this back out next year. Right, next up is the Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt. Now I've included this one because it's called a shirt in the pattern name, however it doesn't have any buttons, it's just a boxy pull over top, but it does have the collar. So this, interestingly, is the only pattern that I've got multiples of in this video. I think perhaps because blouses and shirts tend to be more involved makes, so I won't rush to make another one once I've made one version in the way that you might do with a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that. However, the Donny is one that I do actually have 3 versions of. This was the very first one that I made, and this fabric is a Tencel chambray fabric, and it's just beautiful. Again, really comfortable to wear, and I love the look of it. I love that faded, really pale denim look. So the Donny pattern is a PDF and a paper pattern, and it comes in sizes extra small to 7X. It's a boxy pull on top. It doesn't have any darts in it. It has a lapel collar, and then again it's got this optional breast pocket that you can or can't include. I did include it on this one. It has a yoke at the back and then on the inside too, so again it's constructed using the burrito method, and then you've just got some gathers there that pull the back section into the yoke. Short sleeves, although they have since released an expansion pack which has a long sleeve in it. I started making that version and I haven't actually finished, so I should really get that out of my whip drawer. Really simple to make, simple to wear. Over autumn winter I'll probably layer it, so I'll just wear like a cardigan on top, or I could wear something long sleeved underneath if I wanted to. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, really like this one, so this one isn't going anywhere. I don't think I mentioned in the previous clip, but I did a 1 centimetre broad shoulder adjustment on the Donny as well. So this is the second one that I made. If you can see how drapey and fluid that is, it's because this one is quite a lightweight viscose fabric. Feels so beautiful and cool to wear. I haven't worn this one for a while actually, I think just because it needed to be ironed. So now I've got it out, I think the colours work beautifully for autumn. The only thing that I'm regretting a little bit with this, when I made it, I sewed it in black thread, and where you've got the top stitching all around here and the hem, I think it just looks a little bit harsh. But that's not something that I'm going to correct, to be honest. So I think I just need to live with it. I really like this one, and this fabric was a present from Rachel and Ruan, my lovely friends. So this one is definitely staying. This is my third Donny. So this one's a little bit stiffer because it's made in a cotton poplin fabric. You might be able to hear and just see that that's definitely a more stable fabric than the previous versions. This is a Dashwood Studio fabric and it's gorgeous. I love the colours in it. I think it's really lovely. I do have the pocket on here, not that it's very easy to see. You can't really see the details of this because of the busyness of the fabric. The hem on this one I finished with this gorgeous Specky Seamstress bias binding, which I just think works perfectly. This is probably my least favourite out of the 3, however, still really like it, so that one's going back into my wardrobe. Right, next up we have a little visitor. Chester. It's been a while since Chester's featured on one of my videos. Hello, darling. Do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello? This is actually perfect because it is the perfect chance for me to talk to you about the sponsors of today's video, who are Catkin. Now, I was delighted when Catkin got in touch because I was actually really intrigued and keen to change Chester's diet up a little bit and see how that would impact him. I'm really health conscious. I like to eat a healthy, nutritious diet, and our pets deserve the same. So I was really intrigued as to what Catkin could offer. Chester is a house cat. He is indoors all of the time, so that was something to consider as well. And obviously that means that he does go to the toilet indoors, and his poos could often be a little bit smelly. Sorry if that is too much information. Another thing that worried us a little bit with Chester was that his food bowl was often full and there was lots of waste going on. So was he getting enough food for his size and his age and his activity levels? We just weren't sure. So I was really interested as to how Catkin could support us in providing Chester with a really healthy diet. Catkin food arrives in these really handy pouches which you can store in the freezer and then get them out and transfer them to the fridge as and when needed. The food is 100% real meat and it's made in Suffolk in the UK. There's no preservatives or fillers, just fresh real meat. We often hear in the news and the media about ultra processed food and making sure that we're not having that ourselves. Our cats and our pets deserve the same, don't they? Like I said, these handy pouches can be served directly from the fridge, which is great. There are 7 delicious recipes to choose from. Since changing Chester over to Catkin, we've noticed a real difference in terms of the amount of food that he's leaving. His bowl is usually empty at the end of the day, which is a really good sign. And those poos, far less smelly than they ever were before. He also seems to be much more excited when it comes to feeding time as well. He will purr and meow, and he's just super excited because he knows he's going to get a really delicious, nutritious, tasty meal. So if you would like your cats to feel some of these benefits too, then you can get your first trial box of Catkin at 50% off. You'll just need to use my code, which is TAM50, that's TAM50. All the details will be down in the description box for you, or you can scan this QR code and it'll take you straight over to the Catkin website. Thank you so much to Catkin for sponsoring this video. Right, back to the patterns. So this is the Size Me Sewing Vienne blouse. I kind of forgot I had this, if I'm honest. This is described as an easy sewing pattern suitable for beginners. It has a soft, elegant fit. It's got raglan sleeves, so you can see that there, the seam lines, although kind of hidden in the busy fabric. There's some shoulder darts just for shaping, and then you've got this unique frill on the front. It's fastened with a little hook and eye, so you can wear it open like that, or you can then fasten it to give this lovely frill effect. The sleeves are just very simple. They're about elbow length and they're just hemmed, so there's no elastic or anything in those. And in terms of length, you can sort of see it's hitting just below hip length there. I don't wear this, and it's probably a bit formal, maybe not formal. If I worked in an office or something like that, I would maybe wear this, but it's not the sort of thing that I would wear on a day-to-day basis. The fabric's beautiful and it's a well-made blouse, so I will pass this on and hopefully this will be loved by somebody else. But yes, I think it needs to move on from my wardrobe. This is the Tammy Handmade Faye blouse. It's my most recent blouse make. The fabric is the Dashwood Studio rayon. The fabric for the last blouse that I shared with you, that was also Dashwood Studio. So really beautiful, drapey viscose, lovely to sew, comfortable to wear, makes you feel nice and cool. This, like I said, is the Faye blouse, which is the latest pattern from Tammy Handmade, and I actually pattern tested this one. The pattern is a PDF pattern and it comes in sizes 6 to 32. In terms of variations for this one, there are 3 different neckline options. I've gone for this lovely V-neck, which is quite deep, but I'm happy with that. There are 4 different sleeve options. I've gone for the full length sleeve with the elastic in the cuff, which you can just see there. It's got a lovely amount of volume, not too much, but just nice and comfortable and swooshy. There are bust darts, which are going to be a little bit tricky for you to see here again in this fabric, and the sleeves have a very slight puff to them. I did add a centimetre to the shoulder seams on this one, I think. It's got buttons up the front. I've gone for these beautiful pigeon wishes buttons. And then in terms of length, again, it's hitting around the hip or just below the hip. I like to style this tucked in, but also I'm quite happy to wear it out, or you can go for like a little French tuck. I think this one is a really gorgeous option. I love it, and I really love this fabric. It was fantastic to sew, and Tammy also has a YouTube video talking you through how to make this, so it's a full sew along, which is great. This one is going straight back in my wardrobe, and I'm definitely keen to make another one. I really like the scalloped edge version that is part of the pattern instructions, so I think I would like to give that one a try. Just to mention sizing on this one, I think size down 1, or my measurements put me between a 10 and a 12, and I went with the 10, and you can see it is definitely still quite roomy, but I think it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be really fitted and shaped. It is more of a loose fitting blouse, but if you wanted to bring that shape in a little bit, then you could definitely just size down or take some out of the side seams. Next up is a blouse which took the sewing world by storm when it was released, and this is the Anna Allen Anthea blouse. This is a PDF pattern that comes in sizes 00 to 22. It's a dartless blouse, and it also comes in a dress variation too, and it's got this puff sleeve, quite a lot of volume in the sleeve too. We've got buttons down the front and just a round, not even a collar, but it's just a round neckline that is bound. So the sleeves finish just below the elbow, and again they are created using binding, and there's a lot of fabric actually that gathers in, so the sleeve pieces are quite wide on this pattern. I've made this one in a cotton, so it is really holding its shape as well. In terms of length, you can see here's my hip, so it finishes there. The shape of the bottom of the shirt is sort of curved, so it drops down at the back, drops down a little bit at the front. I've just gone for plain black buttons on this one. I think there's enough going on with this fabric. I tend to wear this quite a lot around winter, so around Christmas time. There's something a bit festive about it. I think it's just the red and the green. I would definitely make this one again. I do have another Anthea cut out and in my whip drawer. However, yeah, I got to the point where I had to gather the sleeves and I just got a bit bored, I think, because I hate gathering. So that one is still in my whip drawer and I should really get it out and finish it off. This one's going straight back into my wardrobe because I do really like it. I like it tucked in, I like it out, and yes, definitely a fan. It's a bit more dramatic in terms of sleeve shape than most of the other ones that I've made, but I still really like it. Okay, next up we have another Size Me sewing pattern. This is the Serene shirt. This is probably one of my most worn shirts or blouses. I don't know if it's because of the fabric or the shape, but I just really like it. So in the same way that the Anthea blouse had, it has sort of all of the drama in the sleeve, but this fabric is a cotton fabric from Cloth Edit, which has these really beautiful textured segments in. I think it's a Japanese cotton. It's beautiful. So it's a little bit softer than the previous fabric. That's why the sleeves aren't holding their shape quite as much. You can see there though that there is quite a lot of fabric in that sleeve. Again, it's gathered into a cuff. You've got a back yoke that sort of comes across, and then the seam is actually here. You've got buttons down the front, but they are hidden by this button placket, sort of a hidden button placket. I don't know why I've gone for such beautiful buttons and then hidden them away, but I couldn't resist. Again, these are pigeon wishes. This could do with a little press just to help that button placket sit nice and flat. You've got a round neckline, and then again it's finishing around hip length. A nice loose fit, just super comfortable, super lovely. I don't always wear it buttoned up to the top, to be fair. I often have it sort of open one or two and maybe tucked in a little bit at the front. Another lovely one that's going straight back into my wardrobe. Next up we have one of, I think, my favourite blouse makes of all time. I absolutely love this. I don't know whether it's the fabric, whether it's the pattern, but I really love it. And this is the Friday Pattern Company Patina blouse. So this comes in their usual size range of extra small to 7X, and you can get it as both a paper and a PDF pattern. It is a collared V-neck blouse. The collar is quite dramatic, so you've got this lovely pointed shape. There are 2 different neckline depth options, and then I think they have a blog post which has got additional depth options on there. I think I've gone for the lower one. to be honest, because I'm quite happy with that style. This is the short sleeved version obviously, but there's also a long sleeved version too. This is designed for light to medium weight woven fabrics, and this fabric is a gorgeous viscose crepe that I got from Rainbow Fabrics. The texture's lovely, the design is just gorgeous, it's like witchy vibes, I love it. And yeah, this is just, I've worn it so much and I love it so much. I've worn it and washed it so much, in fact, that we have got a little bit of an issue here at the collar. So I think where I've perhaps graded the seams or taken that seam in a little bit too much, it's just started to wear away and I've got a little hole in there. And I'm going to have to do some sort of repair because I can't bear to let this one go. I love it so much. I kind of wish I had more of this fabric actually, because it's so gorgeous. But despite loving this one so much, I've still never made another patina, and just putting this one on has made me realise how much I do actually love it and how much I do want to make another one. I often wear this one tucked in to a high-waisted skirt or high-waisted black jeans usually. Yeah. Absolutely love. Right, this one is a little bit different, I think. This is the Sew Over It Lillian blouse. It comes in sizes 6 to 30 and it's one of their more vintage inspired patterns. This blouse has this shawl style collar. The fabric's quite busy. This is a cotton from Cloth Edit, so the details aren't going to show up so much, but you've got a shawl style collar. You've got 3 different sleeve options. Obviously I've gone for the longest ones with this little narrow cuff on the end, but you could also do short sleeves or 3/4 length sleeves. Then there are 2 different fit options for this, so you can make it quite boxy and leave out the darts, or you can do what I've done, which is to add in these double-ended darts both in the front and in the back, which give a really lovely fitted shape. So in terms of length, it is around hip length. You can wear it loose and open like that, or you can tuck it in for a more defined look, I guess. So you could tuck that in at the back too, which I tend to often do. This one, yeah, it's very different. It's maybe the fabric, which is a little bit different in style for me. The buttons, again, pigeon wishes. Really beautiful colours that match in really nicely with the fabric. I don't know, I do like it and I think it's really well made. I'm just not sure if I feel like me in this. What do you think? I think maybe because it's a bit more ditzy and less sort of edgy, that maybe it's just not doing it for me, but I'm not 100% convinced as to whether I want to get rid of it or actually keep it. So do let me know what you think. That is the Lillian blouse. Next up we have the Atelier Scammit Liseron shirt. So this is, like you see, a shirt rather than a blouse. It is boxy, it's got no bust darts in it. You can see it's quite loose, but then you've got quite a fitted shape around the shoulder. You've got long sleeves. The cuffs have this cute little frill detail. You've got proper Tower placket there. And then you've got an optional frill on the collar as well, which I have gone for. The sizing on this one goes from a size 6 to a 20. So I made this quite a while ago as part of the Felicity Fabrics blogger team. I tend to actually wear this as an overshirt, so I wouldn't tend to have this buttoned up usually. I would maybe have like a vest on underneath it or something, and then I would wear it open. But I really like it. It's definitely loose and boxy and slouchy. You could size down if you wanted to make that less obvious, but I just think it's really cute with that frill collar and the little frills on the cuff. I think it's adorable. Definitely going to be keeping this one. Right, you're going to have to excuse the underwear on this one, but this is the puff and pencil tie blouse with Peggy collar and lantern sleeves. So this was made as part of Sew April blouse, and I made it alongside my gorgeous Northern Soul sisters. We did a project where we sewed up fabric from Cloth Edit. The fabric is a linen silk blend and it was beautiful to work with. Now when I say excuse the underwear, obviously it's this central section here where you've got this gap. I need to find something better to wear underneath it. I can't wear nothing underneath it because then it you know, provides no shape or support whatsoever, but I definitely need to find something that is a bit more subtle. So this blouse is available as a PDF pattern and also as a paper pattern, and it comes in sizes extra small to extra large. The blouse itself, so the tie blouse, is a loose blouse with a V neckline, and it's slightly cropped, so you can see this one's definitely a bit shorter. So my hips are there. The closure for this blouse is provided by these two ties here at the front. Then you have options for different collars and different sleeves that you can add on to this. So I went for the Peggy collar. So you can see this is a really wide collar, and it's sort of squared off in the front, and then you've got ruffles. Now that is optional, you don't have to add those ruffles, but I really like those. And then it's more rounded at the back. And then in terms of sleeves, I went for the lantern sleeve, which is a two-piece sleeve, and it's nice and smooth at the top, so there's no puff or gather or anything there, but then you've got all the volume and the puff in the lower part of the sleeve. You can see here that we've got this seam, so this bit is nice and sleek, and then all of the volume comes from that lower part, and then it's gathered in with elastic at the cuff. So I love this. I love the colour combination. I love the style. It's definitely a little bit out there for me. I would tend to wear it with black, I think, rather than this pale denim, but I really love it. Like I say, once I solve this underwear issue, it's one that I'll get a little bit more wear out of, I think. But in terms of a pattern, I really like it, and I really like the style of those sleeves. I think I like a dramatic sleeve when the drama happens lower down rather than the drama happening up here, because I do have slightly broader shoulders. So if I was to add volume there, it would look a little bit strange and out of proportion. Definitely keeping this one. And we are on to the very last blouse or shirt that I'm going to share in this video, and this is the Closet Core Jenna. Just give you a little twirl. I have put a vest on underneath because this is a shirt that I wear open. So if you follow me, then you'll know that this took me, I think, a year from start to finish. I just kept putting it away whenever anything got tricky. It's quite an involved make. It has all of those shirt features, so it's not the most simple of patterns, but once I finished it, I was really delighted with it. So the Jenna comes in sizes extra small to 4X. It's available as a PDF and as a paper pattern, and it's a menswear inspired shirt. So you've got 3 different views. This is the view that I've made, view A. You've then got this cropped version, view B, or you've got the dress version, view C. So you've got all of those polished and classic shirting details. It is loose fitting. It's got a drop shoulder, which I think on a person with average shoulder width, then it would be a little bit more dropped. I didn't add anything onto the shoulders on this one with it being a drop shoulder, so maybe the drop isn't as dramatic as it might be on somebody else. There is a deep back yoke, a chest pocket, a traditional shirt collar and collar stand. Then you've got the long sleeve with the tower placket and cuff. The buttons I've used are from Ethel and Joan. I just thought they went perfectly with this beautiful cotton fabric, which was a Pigeon Wishes and Hey So Sister collaboration. So this is view A, and it has that lovely curved hem feature too. There is an option to add like a little gusset into these sections, but I didn't do that. I also found the hem quite tricky to do with it being so dramatically curved. So I ended up making bias binding out of the fabric itself to bind the hem and finish it really neatly, because I just could not press it. It was not pressing into that beautiful curve. Like I say, this was a more involved make and it did take me some time. However, I would be quite keen to make another one, but in something lighter, maybe like a more traditional shirting style cotton, or like a chambray, something like that would be really nice. But yes, this is one of my favourite makes and I will not be parting with this one. So I hope you found that interesting, seeing all of the blouses and shirts that I have in my wardrobe. I'd love to know which is your favourite. I'd love to know which shirt or blouse pattern you love and you would recommend. And if you do have an opinion on what I should do with that Lillian blouse, then do let me know. Obviously, kind comments are welcome. Don't just say it's awful and it doesn't suit you. Be a little bit more diplomatic. But yes, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one and whether I should keep it. Is there a different way I could style it perhaps? I don't know. Let me know. I will follow up in another video where I'll look at some of the patterns that I've got in my stash that I haven't sewn up yet. So some blouse or shirt patterns that I would like to sew, and I'll be pulling out some fabrics from my stash that I could use for those patterns. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't already subscribe, do hit that button, do hit the like button, have a little chat in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're all doing really well and I'll see you again soon in my next video. Happy sewing. Bye.